Welcome to the Come Like a Child podcast with your host, Ashley Miner. Listen, it has been a long time. If you have started with me from the beginning, you know it's been a long time, probably a little over 2 years, but I'm back. This episode is all about where I've been waiting, growing, and coming back like a child. Sometimes you just need to return. Sometimes you just need to return. But I'm so excited to be here. I hope that you are just as excited as I am. And I have no doubt that the content I release will be beneficial to your life. Some things will be challenging, encouraging, motivating. Some things you're going to be like, why did I listen to this? Now I'm convicted, which is a good thing. And so, if you're joining me for the first time, or if you've been on this journey with me for a while, welcome to the Come Like a Child podcast. I'm so excited you're here. Listen, this episode won't be super long. It's just about where I've been, what the Lord is doing in my life, where I want to be, where I'm headed. And I'm just so excited that you're tuning in today. So, thank you for taking the time to listen to today's episode. I want to read you guys something before I dive into where I've been over the past 2 years. Basically, I'm probably just going to highlight this past year, which has been the hardest year, one of the hardest years of my life, but one of the most rewarding years of my life at the same time. And so, before I dive into that, I want to read you something I wrote. In the waiting, I found him waiting for me. It's 6:35 p.m. and I'm sitting in my car on break, writing the first words of this book. I won't get off until 11 p.m. This isn't the life I pictured for myself at 30. I have a college degree. I once served as a representative for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes at the University of Texas in Austin. But today, I'm single, frustrated, feeling lonely, and working the evening shift at Walmart. This isn't the life I planned, but it's a life where I found God again. In the middle of fluorescent lights, long lines, customer complaints, and silent prayers in the break room. Maybe you're in a season of waiting too, waiting for a job, a child, a partner, a diagnosis, a breakthrough. Whether it's waiting to get your hair done, to pay off debt, to heal, to find closure, or simply to rest. We're all, in some form or another, waiting for something. For the longest time, I labeled myself impatient. I thought that was my core issue. But through a dating disappointment that hurt far more than I expected, I was forced to look deeper. That breakup didn't just sting, it unraveled me. It led me to explore something I haven't given much thought to: attachment styles. I realized I strongly leaned toward preoccupied anxious attachment, shaped by experiences from childhood that I had never fully processed. This discovery was painful, but it was also liberating. For the first time, I saw how my anxiety made waiting feel unbearable. It wasn't just impatience, it was fear of being overlooked, unloved, or left behind. As I started to heal, I began to talk to God differently. I stopped asking, when will this end? And started asking, what is God teaching me in this? That shift changed everything. Walmart became more than a job, it became my classroom. Each interaction, each hour, each frustrating moment turned into a metaphor for something deeper God was doing in my soul. He began to give me glimpses of a book, this book about waiting, about hope, and about trusting Him in places that don't look like a promise, but feel like a process. In these pages, you'll find reflections on attachment, faith, trauma, and transformation. You'll read real stories of people I encountered while working in retail, people waiting for price checks, returns, or simply to be seen. You'll see how God used those moments to speak truth into my waiting, and I pray they speak to you too. I haven't mastered waiting. I still wrestle with doubt. I still want more. But I'm learning that wanting more isn't a sin, and neither is struggling in the wait. We just need to learn how to wait well, how to desire with hope, not despair, how to wait with trust, not fear. This book won't promise quick answers or perfect outcomes, but it will walk with you through the hours of uncertainty and remind you that even here, even now, God is with you. And maybe, just maybe, this place is a part of the promise after all. Welcome to aisle 29, where heaven met my hurry. A little intro of a book I just completed. Yes, book number two. If you've been with me over the past couple of years now, you know that I started writing my first book in 2020. And it's been a process of completing that, which it's done. It's just all the other steps of editing and everything that comes with a book. Well, this past year, I stepped away from FCA last June, and I thought I was going to walk into another vocational ministry job with ease. I applied for so many vocational ministry jobs. Not one, not one of those jobs hired me. I was so disappointed because I had high hopes that that was my calling. That's where I'm gifted. Why is no one hiring me? And I would get answers like, you don't have the experience, we're seeking other candidates. And I began to feel very anxious because I started to think and look at my resume that I had not pulled out ever, because every job I had, somebody called me up and I prayed about it and I accepted them, which was only two jobs at this point. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, I have to find my resume. I have to create a resume. I have to do interviews. And I became very anxious about that. Here I am. I'm 30 years old. I turned 30 last August. I'm 30, I'm jobless, nobody wants to hire me. I have to figure out how to create this resume to make it look great and also change it from the vocational ministry look, if you will, to the corporate. Because if I can't get a vocational ministry, that means I have to go to corporate. I started applying for jobs in corporate, and corporate was like, you don't have the experience. And that created more anxiety. I was like, well, if the vocational ministry side is telling me I don't have the experience, which my entire resume is vocational ministry work, and corporate is telling me I don't have experience, who's going to hire me? I was frustrated. My anxiety was through the roof. I was depressed. And I didn't know what to do. I reached out to just about every connection I had, and nothing was opening up for me. I was like, God, what are you doing? Where do I go? And so, just like everyone else, bills are still moving forward because they don't care what season you're in. My savings is dwindling. And I found myself putting in an application at Walmart. I go to my interview. They basically hire me on the spot. I start a week later. It's a part time position because Walmart doesn't hire you on full time. You have to earn full time. I don't have insurance. I'm making $16 an hour, well below my needs. And for the first time, I have this schedule that's not tailored toward me having the opportunity to go to church on Sunday mornings and Wednesday afternoons for small groups. And again, I become very anxious. I become very depressed because I feel like I'm in a season where I need my community the most, but I also have to work. And so they hire me to work in a cosmetics department. If you don't shop at Walmart, the cosmetics department, I think across the board, is now a bullpen. There's a register in that department because there is a lot of theft and there are a lot of locked items. And so, whenever you need a locked item, I would have to grab my key, unlock that item, take it to the register, and you would have to pay for that item at the cashier, at the register in that department. A lot of people were not happy about this. They would say, I'm not done shopping. My husband is across the store. He has the card. This is stupid. I'm never shopping at Walmart again. I heard it all. I literally heard it all. And so you guys, my first few weeks, I would pull into Walmart parking lot with tears in my eyes. I didn't want to be there. I thought I was more than a job at Walmart making $16 an hour. I'm 30 years old. I have 10 plus years of work experience. Surely there's better for me. And I would go into Walmart and I would cry. I would work 2 hours, take my first 15, cry, go back for 2 hours, go to my lunch break, cry, work 2 more hours, take my last 15, cry. And I would get off work and I would just feel so drained. And I was so frustrated. Probably the first time in my life where I talked to God in a way that I did, like, God, like, what are you doing? I'm better than this. I'm so frustrated. Surely there's a door that should open soon. And a mentor, Carol Gillespie, said to me, Ashley, have you asked God, how does he want to partner with you in this season? And I got to be honest, you guys, I was just like, I don't really want to partner with God here at Walmart. I want out. I want something else, something better. And she encouraged me to ask God, how does he want to partner with me? Shout out to Carol. She is the forward writer of my book. And I just don't think, had she not asked me that question, to ask the Father if I would be where I am today. And so a couple days later, I'm pulling into Walmart with tears in my eyes. And I say, God, how do you want to partner with me? And I go into my normal shift, walk into the cosmetics department, do a couple hours of work, and I'm checking out a customer at the register. While I'm checking out this customer at the register, there's a woman on aisle 29 who needs assistance. She steps outside of the aisle. She lifts her hands up to show me that she needs help. And I said, I'll be with you in just a moment. I go back to ringing up the customer's item at the cash register. Beep, beep. And while I'm doing this, there's another woman on aisle 31. I can see her posture. She says, Hey, I need assistance. And I said, I'll be right with you. There's one person in front of you. And she said, Oh, no, take your time. Take your time. Just letting you know I'm here. And I go back to ringing up the customer's item at the cash register. And the woman on aisle 29, she walks back outside the aisle where I can see her. And she begins to pace back and forth, just walking back and forth where I can see her. And I saw this posture a lot. And it spoke a few things: anxiousness. How long before it's going to be my turn? Has she forgotten about me? So I'm almost done checking out this customer, and I see this woman on aisle 29. She's pacing back and forth. And then I can see the woman on aisle 31. She's just waiting patiently. I'm done with the customer at the register. I go to aisle 29, and at this point, the woman is inside the aisle at the item that she needs. And I grab the item for her, and there's this big, like, sigh, like, whew. And I know what that means. She's here. Finally, it's my turn. I grab her item. I go to the woman on aisle 31. I grab her item. She's still there waiting patiently, thanking me for assisting her. I check out both customers, and now it's time for my lunch break. And as I'm walking to the back room, I'm frustrated. These people think that they're having to wait so long. I'm coming. Can't you see? I'm busy. I'm the only one in the department. They're so impatient. I'm just saying all these things to myself as I walk to the break room. When I sit in my seat in the break room, tears begin to flow down my face. Just, it felt like something so sudden, like out of nowhere. I wasn't emotional. I was just upset and frustrated, and tears began to flow. And I began to think about my relationship with Christ in that season of my life. And I said, wait a second. I feel like the woman on aisle 29 in my walk with Christ. I've sent my request to God. Do you hear me? Do you see me? Are you coming? God, I need more money. I need a better job. I'm lacking community. Do you see me? Do you hear me? Are you coming? And then I thought about the woman on aisle 31, and the Lord laid Isaiah 40:31 on my heart. Those who wait on the Lord, he will renew your strength. You will mount up on wings like eagles and soar. You will run and not get weary. You will walk and not faint. That verse became my lifeline for the entire last year. And I walked outside because I don't like people seeing me cry. I don't like crying in front of people. I don't like people saying, what's wrong? And then it just makes the whole situation worse, you know? And so I go outside and I'm sitting by my car. And that's when the Lord laid on my heart to write another book. And I was like, God, I don't want to write a book right now. I can barely think straight. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And long story short, I started writing Owl 29, Where Heaven Met My Hurry. And you guys, I'm going to sound very biased, but the book is phenomenal. If you're in a season of waiting, if you're waiting for marriage, if you're waiting for the return of a child to come back to Christ, if you're waiting for your marriage to be restored, if you're waiting to get out of debt, to find a job, to get your hair done, to buy a dog, to get an apartment, whatever you're waiting for, God cares about it, and this book will help you as you wait. I have no doubt. It's a very short book. It's about 18,000 words. I finished it. I am in the process of getting the front cover done. And on the 21st, I'll send it to my editor. She's going to take a few weeks to get it done. And then I'm going to partner with Book Baby to do the distributing of the book so that you can then be able to purchase it. So I did set up a GoFundMe for this book because it's expensive, and I would just love your assistance on helping me get it out. It's about $1,600 left. You can head over to my Facebook, Ashley Miner. There is a GoFundMe link there that I posted, and I would love for you to help me get this book out. I would love to get it out early January, late December. And Book Baby, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 months, I'm sorry, to process everything. And so I would love to have the $1,600 by November 1st so I can start that process. But this book, All 29, will be released first. If you've been with me, you know that I wrote another book. That book will still release, but it'll just be my second release when I feel led to release it after Hour 29. And so, man, I was in this season, I was working at Walmart, and I never took pride of my title as the FCA representative at the University of Texas because it was hard. There were days I cried going into that campus, and it was hard. It was fun. It was rewarding. It was a lot of things, but I never took pride in my title. It was when I started working at Walmart that I felt like I was reminded of who I was, like what title I had. And it was so hard to accept like the Walmart position. I found my identity in that blue vest, and that is not my identity. It wasn't my identity, but I just felt like all I am right now is this person in this blue vest. And again, no offense if you work at Walmart. Like my sister has a store. She is very high up in Walmart, loves it. It just, when you're somewhere where you know that you won't be long term and you have other gifts and other desires. It was just that season for me. But I tell you, it was needed. It was worth it on the other side. God was shaping my character, my patience. God healed me in ways that I don't think would have happened had I not worked at Walmart. And I write about it in the book. The book toward the end is very metaphoric. I take the assignments I had on the job, like top stock, customer service, the returns basket, and I write about what the Lord showed me from a spiritual angle from doing those things. And it absolutely made the job a little easier. It was still hard, but if you are in a season of your life where God is placed or has placed you somewhere where you don't want to be, I double dog dare you to partner with him. I'm going to return that question to you. Have you asked God, how does he want to partner with you in this season? Because it's so crazy how the Owl 29 moment happened from day one to my last day at Walmart. But I couldn't see it until I removed my physical eyes and put my spiritual lens on. I couldn't see that until I said, God, how do you want to partner with me? And so I encourage you to ask God, how do you want to partner with me in this season? So um I went to Walmart and I met some incredible people. There was a lot of encouragement on some days. I was having low days, and believers, people that I didn't know, will walk up to me and say, "Hey, God has great things in store for you. I don't know you, but I feel led to say this. Hey, I just feel like I have a word from the Lord today to tell you this." And there were so many reminders, and I was just bawling. I was like, oh my gosh, the God who sees, the God who sees. And so this past year, I worked at Walmart for like 7 months, and then I went to another job. My friend Tina helped me get on at a radiation company, and I started working at the radiation company from 8 to 4:30, and then I would go to Walmart from 5 to 11. I was exhausted. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, you know I love sleep. I love getting about 8.5 to 9 hours of sleep per night if I need it. And y'all, I was getting about 5 to maybe 6 hours of sleep. I was exhausted, mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. And it was a season. I remember my friend Jamie telling me, she said, Ashley, it's a season and you can do it. I had a lot of people in my corner. Like, they knew where I was, but they also knew what I was capable of doing, but they knew that what I was capable of doing had not come yet. And they were reminding me constantly, like, Ashley, you're in a season, you can do it. You're in a season, you can do it. And I say that to you. You're in this season. It's hard. You don't want to be there, but you can do it. You can do it. Partner with God. And so that's one of the major things that I did this past year. I also learned a lot about myself. I'm single. I've done the online dating thing. I hate it. I hate it so much. But I matched with a guy last summer and was love bombed. Straight up love bomb. I talked to a friend about it. She sent me a post on Instagram, and the post was titled, How to Know If You're Dating a Dismissive Avoidant. Now, I've done counseling a few times, a couple sessions, but I've never done it consistently to where I've gotten to learn about the different attachment styles. So, y'all, I went on a deep dive about the attachment styles: dismissive, anxious. And when I tell you, I saw this guy's face and everything I read around a dismissive. But not only that, I learned that I leaned more toward anxious. And if you know anything about attachment styles, a dismissive avoidant and an anxious person typically connects. And what happens is, if neither party heals, the dismissive, once you get close to them, they just abruptly leave. The anxious is his heart is just destroyed. And then the dismissive comes back once they feel like they have their freedom again, and then they continue to leave. So I went on a deep dive, and I remember sitting on my office floor in tears because of what the Lord had showed me. Again, through a dating disappointment. And that happened in like 2 weeks. It was like 2 weeks of communicating with this person. And the Lord allowed me to connect with this guy, to learn something about myself that, again, he could have shown me in other ways, but I don't know if I would have seen it in other ways. And so I go on this deep dive about attachment styles. I'm listening to every podcast, reading every book, praying, and I began to basically affirm myself, because that's how you heal from insecure attachment styles, is you affirm yourself. And I started affirming myself with the word of God. I would create a note in my phone so that when I felt anxious, I would just speak over my life. I am healed. I'm loved. I'm the daughter of a king. I'm worthy. I am enough. I just started, affirming myself, and it really does help. And so I went on this deep dive. Plot twist: I'm going to have Zion Montgomery. If you are listening to this podcast and you know Zion, she's a psychologist. She's going to come on the podcast and share all about the attachment style. She does this for a living. She's way smarter than I am. I cannot wait to interview her. But I think it's going to be so healing, so rewarding to listen to her talk about the attachment styles, because we as believers are called to be secure. And what I learned is that my anxious attachment started back when I was a kid. I was raised in a single parent household. My mom went to work. I didn't know when she was coming back. We didn't have cell phones. I just remember looking outside the window in the projects. Every time a car was outside, I was like, is that my mom? is that my mom. I would get so excited when I saw car lights, and I was so disappointed when it turned out not to be her, and anxious. So when I grew up, every relationship, every friendship, how I treat people, when I'm rejected, it it all stemmed from an anxious attachment. And so I began to heal. And I would say that I'm not 100% secure, but I am 100% aware when I am not. And that's a start. I think a lot of people don't realize that they are insecure. But when you learn that you are, as believers, you take it to the cross. We were not created to be insecure people. Through challenges, through upbringings, through words that were spoken over us, it created an insecure attachment that I believe is solely from the enemy. And through the blood of Jesus Christ, there's healing. Through the power of words, there's healing. And I believe that if you are struggling as an insecure person, there's healing for you, no doubt. And so I wrote a book. I went on this deep dive of learning about attachment styles, about myself. I got a new apartment. I'm excited. I love it so much. It's pretty fresh, but it's just nice. I'm 31. I had another birthday this couple months ago, and I just feel refreshed. I feel refreshed. I'm excited about what the Lord is doing in my life. I started a new job a couple months ago, like 4 months ago now. I'm not working two jobs anymore, so I'm not as exhausted, but I still have dreams and desires of being elsewhere. But I'm learning as I wait to rejoice in the now. And so God has been good. He's been kind. I'm in this season of just enjoying his presence. I have a great view at my apartment. I wake up, I go to the balcony, I read the Lord's word and try to go work out and just really enjoy myself. I'm so ambitious. I am such a woman of grit that I feel like I get so lost in where I want to be and what I want to be doing that I miss the now. And I'm just learning to slow down. I'm learning to appreciate the now more. And so if you're like me and you're ambitious and you have goals and you're not where you want to be, partner with God. Rejoice in the now. Take a sheet of paper, take your notes in your phone, and just write things that you're thankful for. When you write three things you're thankful for, you're just gonna start be like remembering things. You won't even have time to finish. There's just gonna be things that pop up in your mind, like, wow, I actually have so much. I actually have so much. So that's where I've been. I don't know where all the Lord is leading me. I have goals, I have hopes, I have dreams, but for now, this is where I'm at. And I'm excited to go on this journey with Coming Like a Child, um, the Come Like a Child podcast. I'm going to do a lot of promoting the book. So I'll do a lot of solo episodes. I also have some incredible guests coming on. Just going to drop some names. Tony Collier. If you don't know Tony Collier, she is amazing, incredible testimony and work what the Lord is doing through her and for her. Zion Montgomery, I mentioned earlier, she's a psychologist. Just, gosh, young but wise. You're gonna enjoy her. She's incredible. You're gonna think that she's way much older than what she is because of her wisdom. She's just so strong in the word and incredible human being. I have my pastors, Pastor Joe and Lori Champion, who pastor Celebration Church. They're coming on. They're going to talk about the legacy of the church and why the local church is important. I I don't want to get into it too much, but I am just so honored to have them as pastors. We just watched a film of the first 25 years of celebration and I'm in tears. I was in tears. I think they need to release it on Netflix. But anyways, incredible guests coming on the podcast. If you have listened to Minutes to Hours, the podcast that I co-host with my friend Katrina. We are going to start that back up in January, but I'm going to do some solo podcasting and I'm going to bring some guests on. Katrina, you going to come on, sis? Yeah, she's going to come on. And, but I'm going to do a lot of promoting the book because I think it's that good. I'm biased. I'm so biased. but the book is incredible. It is amazing what the Lord has done through me, for me, and the words that He has written for this book. And I can't wait to get it into your hands. And I'm sorry for it taking so long and I don't know, getting hopes up for the first book, but it's all going to happen in the Lord's time. Like it really is. But this book, I have hopes that it will be out at the end of December, early January. So thank you so much for returning with me, for coming back like a child. I cannot wait to see what the Lord does. And I'm just super excited for this season of the podcast. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.